amazing and beautiful friend and photographer, my wedding photographer, Heath.
Hi.
And this is both of our first interview of this kind, and it's scary but also super fun. So we are excited to go live together for you all, and we will be talking about all things life, love, and weddings.
Yes.
So first of all, Kim, tell us a little bit more about how you got into photography. And then how did you decide to focus on weddings?
Okay. Thanks for having me on.
Yes.
I think, so I've been asked this question a million times. I think the short answer is it's been a long time coming. The long answer is I kind of grew up in a household with creativity and hustle. So every weekend when I was a kid, I spent doing art and watercolors with my dad. And then when I got older, and then eventually my parents separated, and then I started seeing my mom really hustle as a single mom, and she owned her own business, that empowered female business owner style. Yes. And then, so after college, I did an executive leadership program at Target.
Oh.
Yeah, it was kind of cool, but not really. So I spent 4 years doing that, but I mean, at 22, I was managing hundreds of employees, multi-million-dollar stores. So you're kind of like, I got to get my shit in check. You got to learn how to run a business. And I planned my own wedding while I was at Target. And then I was like, this is perfect. This is calling me. This is awesome. So when we moved out to California, that was it. I started doing wedding photography.
Wow.
Did your wedding?
Yes.
This speaks to my soul.
Oh my God. Yes. It's spoke to our soul. We feel so lucky to have had to photograph our wedding. Okay, that's awesome. I had no idea about the backstory. Okay. So your tagline, capturing all the feels. I love it. I'm obsessed with it. And I feel like that, like, there's not a better tagline for what we experience with our wedding photos. I feel like every time we look at it, it's just takes us right back into that moment. So I think it's so beautiful. How did you come up with that? It's so spot on.
Yeah. So I think when you're starting out as an artist, you're figuring out, or your own business, you're figuring out what is your brand? What do you express? What are you showing to your clients?
Yeah.
And I think for a long time, I was trying to fit myself into another mold. Yeah. And then finally I started listening to other people. And when they saw my photographs, it all kept coming back to emotions. I feel like you capture people's emotions and how it felt.
Yeah.
And I was like, that's perfect. That's what I think my heart is expressing in my art, and that's what people are seeing. So all the feels came to me. I didn't seek it out. But yeah, I just started listening to what naturally was my style, and that came about.
Oh my gosh, I love it. All the feels. That's amazing. Okay, cool. Okay, so wedding photography, there are a lot of photographers out there, and it can be super overwhelming. I hear this we felt it, and I hear this all the time with my clients, like, how do I figure out the right photographer for us? And this is an area where I think most people are like out of all of the wedding kind of vendors. This is one where they're really focused on, because it's like capturing the memories. What advice would you give couples about choosing a wedding photographer? Let's start there.
So much advice.
I know. Okay, what are the 3 most important things to keep in mind?
Okay, 3. 1, style.
Oh.
So you either know you like a photographer or you don't. So definitely see their work, see their Instagram, go to their website, and do their photographs speak to you? Do they give you all the feels?
Yes.
So I think that's something that you can't really like jam into like a box. Like you either love their photos or you don't. And then 2, meet them in person. So we did that.
It was fun.
Yeah. And just follow your heart. I'm sure, Elizabeth, you remember, but you spend more time with your photographer than anybody else. More than your mom, more than your sister, more than your favorite best friend. Like, you will see their freaking face all day. So if you don't like them, then it's not a good fit. So follow your gut, meet them in person. I insist on meeting with my clients beforehand because it's a 2-way fit. So I have to like you, you have to like me. So I would say 2, meet them in person.
Okay.
3. I would say just budget. I mean, everyone has a wedding budget in the end. But that said, be flexible in your budget. When I was wedding planning, I had a specific number in mind, and that was kind of thrown out the door. So I think if you really love a photographer and they're a little bit outside of your price range, make that adjustment because you're not going to remember your dinner wear. You're not going to remember the lights, but you'll remember your photos. So I'd say have a budget, but be flexible in that and keep that mindful when you're choosing a photographer.
Yeah. I love that. That's good mix of intuition and very practical. And it's so true in the moment. I think with everything in the wedding, there's this sticker shock, and and it feels so like monumental in the moment, but then you'll be so, I mean, I know we were so grateful. I mean, we look at these photos every day, all the time. And it's such an important investment. And I think you hit it on right there that it's an investment. It's not just this one-time purchase. Okay, great advice. Thank you. Yes. Okay, next question. Okay, this is a good one. There's always something that doesn't quite go as planned at weddings. It's inevitable. We all know that. Of all the weddings that you've observed, tell us about a time when things went awry, but the bride kept her cool. Like, what did she do? Because I think all of us, certainly all of my clients, and I was wondering this too, like, how do I set myself up for success to not let the little things get to me?
So actually at my own wedding, that's what comes to mind. So my own wedding, actually, I discovered a little bit during the reception that our caterer didn't bring in enough food. So I saw Robbie, my husband's mom, and my mom just like huddling in the corner whispering, and then I was about to greet them because I was so happy and fed and had drinks, and I'm like, what's up, guys? And they're like, oh, it's fine. But they told me that the caterer had only brought in enough food for, I think, half the guests or a little bit.
What?
Yeah. Like a little bit over half. So somehow someone obviously messed up and there's miscommunication. That said, I think I knew I had a good community surrounding me and I had hired really reliable vendors. So my planner was amazing. And then just remember the bigger picture. Like, this is a little hiccup in like a very bigger day. So I think going in with the right mindset of what this day is about and not getting frustrated and just trusting that a detail will be handled. But I think just having a really positive mindset going into the ceremony, you'll be fine. What do you think?
I love it.
I love to hear your advice.
Ooh, that's good. I always say, with my clients, we do a lot of practice with mindfulness and meditation to really, I always say it's like exercising a muscle. Like you can't just expect to like lift 50 pounds. You have to practice and work your way up to it. But in the moment, it can feel really hard to tap into that. So I always say, feel your feet on the ground. It's a quick way to just recenter and breathe and know that whatever is happening will pass. And so I just say, feel your feet on the ground, and then everything will fall into place.
That's great. Yeah. Did anything happen on your wedding day?
Ooh,
I was there, but you were I think you practice that so much that it's not something crazy.
Yeah, it's funny. I think a lot happened on our wedding day, and everyone was like, "Wow, you just really kept her cool." And it didn't even register for me. And I think I do think it's important to figure out who your inner circle is that will protect you from finding out about that stuff, because like the less you know, the better.
Right.
And so, well, one, like we were just talking about, our wedding timeline was tight. And there were some bow tie snafus, which made the guys late to the first look, which kind of you might remember we took a lot of unexpected shots leading up to that, and we were probably about a half an hour late to our ceremony. But it was just so fun to be with the smaller group during those first look shots, and it dawned on me that no one is getting married without us there, so I might as well just enjoy the time that we had taking those photos, and we'll make it up at some point. Yeah,
you're so calm.
Thank you.
That's good.
Thank you. It was like, well, nothing's gonna get me down today. Okay, so you have seen a lot of weddings. How many weddings have you done so far?
I don't know. Dozens and dozens. I would say maybe around 50.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow. What is your number one piece of advice to brides to fully enjoy their wedding experience?
I think what you said. I think you need to practice, specific muscles, but I'm very much of the motto of like, what's the bigger picture and what's important, and that's you two as a couple getting married. So I think as long as you keep that in the bigger picture, that's good. No, I have a better answer.
Oh, yeah.
I think do what makes you happy. Follow your heart. I think also part of my personality is it's very much like short-term pain, long-term gain.
Yeah.
And navigating the wedding process is you're going to be asked to make a lot of compromises from your parents, from a random aunt, whoever. But I think if you follow your heart and you do what's right for you two as a couple on your wedding day, and everyone sees how happy you are during the wedding day, then everything else is fine. Like your mom won't remember that fight over the dishes or whatever else. So just think about the wedding planning process as like short-term pain, but long-term gain, and just make your decisions based off what will make you happy, and no one else will care.
Yeah, I love that. I think that's such an important point, and something that I talk a lot about too, because people want to they want to accommodate all of the requests, and by doing so they're not following their heart, and they kind of veer off track. And I think what you don't see is happening when that happens is you get further and further away from what feels true to you, and then you feel grumpier, and then people can feel that you're grumpy, and then it's this like weird ripple effect when you were trying to be nice. And so I think that is a good distinction of like that the key is to like do what makes you happy, and everything else will fall into place. Like not try and make other people happy, because that just is a recipe for disaster.
You're not going to be able to do it.
Yeah. Oh, good. Okay. You photographed our wedding. Yes. What is one thing that you felt we did differently that you'd encourage other brides or couples to think about?
I loved your wedding day. All the feels.
All the feels.
I cried the whole day. I know that I did not wear mascara, because I remember feeling a sigh of relief. And being like, I'm going to look professional. I'm not going to look like a mess. I loved your ceremony. I think I thought it was going to be something else. So I really appreciated that there was, an homage to the Chinese heritage and like something of your past and your parents and your families. That was present in the happy hour. That said, your ceremony, I think, was very uniquely you and Andrew and really represented your relationship. I got a very good sense of that and like how you're ushering in your marriage into this next chapter of your life. So I really resonated with that. I really resonated that you did what you wanted and that represented you and Andrew. So I love that. And I wish more brides would take ownership over that. Yeah.
Thank you so much. That's so sweet. That, wow, that means a lot.
Yeah.
And you are married. When did you get married again?
2012. So we just celebrated 5 years. I know.
Congrats. That's so beautiful. What was the most magical moment of your wedding day?
Surprisingly, it was not expected. I was ready just to party and not care about anything, which I did. But the most magical was actually the ceremony. I think we're really intentional going into our wedding. I either wanted to elope or I wanted to like have a wedding that was really about our marriage and not about other people.
Yes. Snaps. Marriage.
So when we created our ceremony, we just made sure it was very us. So we had our very best friend officiate. He did an amazing job. And then we kind of like took parts of Buddhism, a little bit. Robbie and I were raised Catholic, so a little bit of Catholicism, and then a little bit of ancestry worship from my Vietnamese heritage, and then just a little bit of everything that we love, and created our own ceremony, and it was amazing. And I'm extremely private, so the thought of just being up there and professing my love in front of people that I haven't seen in 15 years was terrifying, but it was really special to feel support from my parents and our communities, and I think have people hold you accountable because they were there. So the ceremony, definitely.
Oh, I love that, because I think I hear that a lot, that a lot of people feel really nervous about that piece of it. And so their first inclination is to just either not do it or copy paste or like keep it. They're like, I'll just keep it to like 10 minutes. It'll be short. And then like we can go dance. Like what is the, like for someone also that was private, what did you think was important about going through that process and kind of publicly, even though it was scary, publicly sharing that?
So this is a lot of background, a lot of feels. But I grew up in kind of like a tumultuous household with my parents, and I think I was just born out of the womb really independent. And so I was like, I never need anybody. I can do things on my own. And I think that kind of made me a really private, independent person. So I think it was great allowing myself to just be present in my day, and then having my mom and dad and community that I don't normally rely on to support me during that day. It was really freeing. It was really freeing to feel just supported without having to like make that conscious decision, I guess. So that was one part of it I loved. And then 2, it was also really therapeutic, I think, to be like, I love this man, have a Tom Cruise moment, and just be like, yes, like, I know you guys know I love him, but it's just, there's something freeing about declaring that in front of other people. And again, having people hold your marriage, I think, be supportive, but hold you accountable.
Yes. Okay. I have goosebumps. That's so good. That's so good, because I think, there was so much in that. Like one of the pieces that really resonated is just that intention is that holding accountable. I think that's really beautiful. I think that's really important with the power of a wedding ceremony that a lot of people, I feel like they miss, but there's something so sacred about the container of having everyone you love around you, and to actually say everything that you're feeling and vowing to. out loud. So, oh, that's good. And marking that as a step, like a next step in your relationship, and a next step in laying the foundation for marriage.
It's important.
Yes. Okay. That's such good advice. And it's so beautiful. So if you could go back and tell yourself one thing on your wedding day, what would it be?
I wouldn't.
No.
There's nothing I would change about my wedding day.
Yeah.
I'm a huge believer in you're meant to be a person that you are at that moment. And if there were things that I could go back and change, I still wouldn't. I think you should learn from anything. So I don't think there's anything I would go back and tell myself.
That's
Is that
really
a cop-out?
No. No, that's really beautiful, because that brings up something that I've actually been thinking and talking a lot about, which is just divine timing. And that
yes word.
And that whatever path you're on and whatever you're experiencing is the right experience for you in that moment.
Yes.
For whatever direction it takes. It's one of those where, like, you can't, I think we dwell a lot in the past and wish for a lot in the future, and it takes away from the power of the present. And so, so this concept of divine timing has been like really interesting to me. So I think that's beautiful.
I just went in.
It's so good. And then what has been your greatest lesson in marriage so far?
That's a mean question. So I got married super young. We got engaged when I was 22. I don't know if you know that.
No.
Yeah, 22. And then we got married when I was 24. Robbie was 25. So we were really, really young. Yeah. And I think from hearing countless people's advice and lessons, I would say keep in mind that there's not a one-size-fit-all marriage. There's not a one-size-fit-all advice. So that's kind of my tiny disclaimer.
I think I really love that, because I do think that, especially in this age of Pinterest and Instagram and Facebook, like we definitely have it's actually quite destructive, this image of like the perfect marriage, and everyone is looking for that what's the word, like silver bullet, the magic bullet, and it's going to be so different for everyone. And like, I think what's important to keep in mind is you're both two imperfect humans coming together to support each other in an imperfect life. But it's learning how to, it's like one of my favorite quotes from Up. It's something like it's not about finding the perfect person, but learning to live imperfectly with that person.
Yes. I think that's honestly been the biggest learning lesson that I think nobody really teaches you. Like, you're two individuals with strengths and flaws coming together. Robbie and I are opposites in almost every way. Every test we take, we're just like, and it's hard. But with that, I think there's a lot of strengths in your marriage when you guys can kind of acknowledge who you are, know who you are as an individual, and then bring it together.
Ooh, yes. And that I'm like really picking up on the knowing who you are as an individual, because I think that's so important, that it's not, I'm always like, it's not about finding your better half, because you are amazing and full and whole. It's about finding that person that just propels you forward, like really lights that fire for you. And that all starts with you. And to just keep cultivating that and knowing that inside of yourself, your own inner wisdom. And as long as you're, staying grounded and centered, then you can you can kind of weather, you'll be able to show up and weather those storms and be the support that you need in the marriage. So good. Okay. Okay. Just for fun, who inspires you and why?
Right now, it's gonna sound cheesy. It's actually my mom. So we just talked about my trip to Vietnam. I know. Growing up, I was just like, again, I think I was just born out of a womb, like a very grouchy, like really judgy person. But I think being judgy, like I have a good gut. And I think I knew like my parents were just flawed humans. And so I don't think I really idolized them like other kids growing up. However, recently I went to Vietnam and traveled for a couple of weeks with my husband. And I think just being in the country and seeing all of the stuff that she had to go through. My mom's badass. Like she tried to escape Vietnam in the early 80s, got put in jail for escaping, and then eventually succeeded in escaping and stayed on a boat. And she brought her nephew and niece with her. And now she's like a small business owner. So I think going to that country and seeing how resilient she is and how much power you must have to want to escape that and build a whole new life. I don't want to do that. She's badass. So I think anything where I'm hitting business trouble or I don't have AC or whatever, I think I derive a lot of strength with knowing that I come from a woman like that. So my mom.
Oh my gosh. Thank you for sharing. That's it's so beautiful. I find it so interesting when we do go back to our roots, and there's kind of this visceral experience of just seeing everything that our parents or grandparents or ancestors went through to get us to this place. And it can be so empowering to kind of walk along that path. So fun. And what is your favorite wedding song?
I don't have one. Do you have one? Do you have one that you're like...
Okay, do I have one? Okay, didn't expect the flip. I love Signed, Sealed, Delivered.
Okay.
That one
classic.
is like, dun, dun,
all the generations on the dance floor.
Yeah. Yes.
Yeah, I'm a little bit more selfish. I'm like really into reggaeton.
Oh,
so, like, that one song Mi Gente that's like on the radio.
Oh, yes.
That's like my jam where I'm like, yes. Watch the camera. I don't even care. I'm getting on the dance floor.
Yes. Oh my God. You came on our dance floor. It was so God, you got it.
Was cray. Most times, like as a photographer, you're like, "Can I go home early?" No, that was not your dance.
Oh my God. I was so glad. I was so glad. It was so fun. Yeah. Yeah, my favorite part was the like impromptu tunnel.
Yes. The videographer and I were like, no, I want the shot.
I know, it was so good. Oh my gosh. Well, Kim, thank you so much. Thank you so much. This was so fun. Thank you guys. Thank you to everyone who joined. Kim, you are amazing. You're extremely talented. She was just telling me she's almost booked for 2018. So if you guys are looking for a wedding photographer, you've got to get on her calendar. Where can they find you?
Kim Heath Photography, Instagram, Facebook, website. That's it.
Easy. Yeah. Okay. I'll post it in the comments. And then for those of you who don't know me, I'm Elizabeth Sue, and I call myself the Woola, the wedding doula. We have so much fun. I help go-getter, high-achieving, busy ladies and couples weave mindfulness into their wedding experience. So we toss out the cookie cutters, we knock the to-do list, we get away from logistics and party planning to tap into what's important, to tap into why you're getting married, what you desire out of your wedding experience, make sure that it feels true to you, and really set you up for success, because weddings are just one day, but they are this kind of gateway into this next beautiful chapter. So This is our first, this is my first kickoff of this interview series. If you guys want to hear more, let me, I'd love to hear how you enjoyed it. If you have any questions, or if you're looking for other people for me to host, let me know. I thought this was super fun, so I want to do more. So thank you, everyone. Thank you, Kim. I love you. And we'll talk to you guys later. Mwah. Bye.